Yo, what is good, everybody? It is your boy, Golden Falls, Golden What If, whatever you want to call me, and I am back. This is part 3 of What If Deku was the reincarnation of Darkseid. And as always, if you enjoy, show some love, leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. And yeah, that's all I really gotta say. And I just want to get right into the what if, because I got a lot to do and a lot to say for the rest of this story. So let's get right into it. Let's get it. Izuku Midoriya has just done an amazing thing. He's just revealed so much to the heroes, to UA, and so much more. It seems as if since this kid has arrived, he's done more and more and more as they continue on this journey throughout UA High School and throughout this whole hero journey. Now, he can't really get involved too heavily with the whole research of Aoyama and to kind of like interrogate and kind of look into like if he's truly a traitor of some sorts. But for now, he continues on with doing his normal UA hero type of school thing, and that would include the UA Sports Festival. The UA Sports Festival will be heading up very, very soon, and they would be basically taking on as much as possible. But in all reality, this isn't really a challenge for someone like Deku and someone like Izuku Midoriya. Frankly, there's a lot of things in his own mind that he feels he could be doing better, and a lot of things in his own mind that he felt like he could be spending his time on and it would be yielding greater results. But of course, Aizawa is very insistent on him showing what he's capable of, especially because this is going to allow him to basically get into any internship, any future work study, and all of the above very, very soon as well. And he tells him this is a very serious thing, so Izuku takes it very seriously as well on the act of Aizawa. Now, he would be the person to actually give a speech, and he would be telling everybody that, well, he's going to win, and that statistically there is no other runner-up. There's no close person, it's only him. And really, that's the truth behind it, because he just scales way better than everyone else. He is faster, he is stronger, he is smarter, and so on and so forth. And it seems like everyone hears this and they're not too happy about it. Frankly, they're not happy about the idea that Izuku is bolstering himself up in front of everybody and showing exactly that he's arrogant and that he's so much better. But Izuku's not necessarily arrogant, he just knows he's better than everyone else. So, is a fact really being arrogant? I'm not so sure. Now, the very first thing they do is the obstacle course race. And let's just say that arrogance, or that confidence you could even say, is proven immediately. Because, well, it seems as if Izuku Midoriya shows exactly why he's so much better than everyone else when he begins to just dash forward and fly past every single obstacle you could possibly think of, and, well, he would beat everybody by a long shot. And when I mean a long shot, I mean a long shot. Everybody would mildly struggle on, this obstacle or maybe this miscellaneous obstacle, but no, Izuku Midoriya, oh my goodness, he is gone in a matter of seconds too. He just obliterates through the robots, dives over this giant crevice or this giant place that is sunken in, and all these obstacles are nothing for him. They're actually very simple. I mean, he's kind of not impressed that UA did something so basic. At the end of the day, I mean, what is this? I mean, this is so simple, this is so basic, I mean, this is nothing. And he truly believes that. And he just bolts past everything with absolute ease, and he has to wait actually a little bit for everybody to arrive. Now, this would lead him to getting a bit of you could call it a disadvantage, but it's not really a disadvantage to a large extent. And what I mean by that is he'd actually be given a 10 million point ban. And this band would, of course, go around his head, and, of course, would be all involving the whole point system in the next event known as the Cavalry Battle, But in all honesty, everybody who's on Izuku's team would get through to the next round. And it seems like everybody knows that, because a lot of people are trying to join him. And frankly, Izuku doesn't really care who joins him. He doesn't really mind. Honestly, he'd rather just do it on his own. I mean, he can fly, he can do this, he can do that. I mean, there's no way they're gonna lose, and there's just no chance he's going to somehow lose with extra people on his team as well. So he decides to, pick up some miscellaneous people, being that of Uraraka, Tokiyami, Meihatsume, and they make a bit of a team. And everyone is kind of sad because they weren't able to actually be on Izuku's team. But Izuku literally just has his team stand still, and anytime anyone gets close, he would shoot his Omega Beams and kind of put it on quote-unquote stun, but even lower than stun, so that he can kind of push them away, you could say. And frankly, there's just this aura around Izuku that makes it feel as if no one could even touch him, that it's not even close. Nobody even tries after a certain amount of time to even go near Izuku, and frankly, that's probably the best choice and the best course of action. Because, frankly enough, Izuku is leaps and bounds above everybody that is going to try and get his band away from his head. So it's best to not stick around and not deal with Izuku head on. So most people try to, get their bands elsewhere and stuff like that. And Izuku's team, being that of Meihatsume, Tokiyami, and also Ochaku Uraraka, are passed on to the next round very easily. And the next round is a 1 versus 1 round. And let's just say, this is not going to be very good for whoever goes head-to-head with Izuku in the very first round. It's not going to be fair, and Izuku actually faces off with someone by the name of Hitoshi Shinso. Shinso is an interesting one. He hasn't actually heard of him, and it seems like he's part of general studies. I mean, he's not 100% sure why Shinso even got this far, but then he begins to think, how did Shinso truly get this far? He begins to think about all the stuff that Shinso did, how it all connected, and so on and so forth, and eventually he would deduce his quirk. And once he was able to deduce that quirk, let's just say, it wasn't a fair fight. Izuku just wouldn't respond to him at all, would approach him extremely quickly, and just push him off the stage. And just like that, Shinso would be gone, and Izuku would be on to the very next round, in which he would await his next challenge, and he would actually be confronted by somebody, and actually be confronted by one of the most major heroes in the entirety of Japan, and maybe in the entirety of the world, that being Endeavor. Endeavor would approach him and say that he wants to make a deal with the kid. He wants him to actually force his son, obviously Todoroki, Shoto Todoroki, to utilize his fire side, and that if he does this, that he'll be basically gifted a spot on Endeavor's agency when he's on the up and coming, and when he needs an internship and also a work study and stuff like that. Izuku looks at him and tells him that by just looking at him, he can tell that he's a absolute shit father. And on top of that, he's obviously horrible at parenting and probably has abused his son and probably all of his entire family his entire life. Endeavor would immediately retaliate and say, who does the kid think he's talking to? And Izuku's eyes would glow a bright red and say that he's obviously talking to the oaf that is in front of him. Now, he's better watch what he says very, very, very strictly, or else. And immediately Endeavor would say that those threats are empty and that he wouldn't even be able to touch him. But Izuku says that that's so far from the truth that he doesn't even understand. He's compared their powers, he's compared their strengths, and let's just say that if Izuku was maybe 3-4 years older, that he would be the number 2 hero standing next to All Might, fighting crime, not battling against him or hiding under his shadow. Izuku would nudge Endeavor onto the side and would walk past him, as Endeavor would be so pissed to the point that he would fill the corridor with fire, and it would begin to spread toward Izuku, and Endeavor would purposely try to hit Izuku with fire, but it seems like with one punch, the fire would clear out, and Endeavor would be slightly pushed down more down the corridor, and he would be in shock. How did that kid just do that? He's just a kid. There's no way in which Izuku would just walk away and would go and head out to the stage as he's going to face down with Shoto Todoroki. Now, this fight, let's just say, is not necessarily an eventful one. Izuku would easily be able to defeat Todoroki, but for now, he wants to play around a little bit. He begins to try and see what his limitations are, what he can do, what he's capable of, and then eventually he realizes that Todoroki is slowing down more and more and more. And he tells Todoroki, well, if he uses Fire Side, wouldn't that make him more stabilized? Isn't like that the whole point of having that quirk? In which Todoroki would shut down the idea of him even utilizing that horrible quirk, like that is not his quirk. In which Izuku would shrug and say that he is utilizing his quirk. I mean, the ice is his quirk, the fire is his quirk. I mean, he's not saying he has to utilize them, but he's just saying that it is definitely his quirk. Izuku would go on to kind of break down what he truly believes about Todoroki's quirk and what he's truly going to be capable of, and says that he'd be so much better than his father, quicker than you could possibly imagine, if he just utilized both of them. Both the fire, both the ice. But hey, do what you want, do as you wish. And Izuku tells him that it really doesn't matter to him, because it all ends the same exact way, and that's with a victory for Izuku Midoriya. His eyes begin to glow as he shoots Omega Beams toward Todoroki, and the Todoroki tries to stop them and block them with his ice, but soon he would realize that it keeps burning and burrowing through the entirety of the ice, and then immediately he tries to regulate himself with his fire, subconsciously trying to spew more ice to block it, and he even shoots fire as well, just a little bit, trying to block the Omega Beams from reaching him. But soon he would realize that even though he utilized his fire for a split second, that it would never have been enough to beat Izuku. And it launches him off the stage, and Todoroki is the loser. Izuku would look into the stands and would realize that this really is no challenge. That every single person here is so far from his level. He needs to already level up and go to the next stage and go to the next basically the next fight, the next time, and also just accelerate his hero career. That's what he wants to do. But obviously it's never that simple. And there's always restraints on people like him, on people that are so much better, but still need to go step by step like every single other person. Now, this would lead Izuku to going on to the next round, where he would face off with Tenya Ida, which wouldn't even be a challenge and wouldn't even be close. The fight with Tenya Ida would be a very simple one, but he would recognize something. He would see that Ida is actually going through something, and he's talking to somebody on the phone, and he overhears the words that were being said, something about the hero killer and something about Tenya Ida's brother. So he'll have to keep that in mind as he continues on with basically dealing with whatever hero work, and also as he finishes the UA Sports Festival. Now, with that said, the finale is here. The end all be all, the end of the UA Sports Festival is upon us, because that is Izuku Midoriya versus Katsuki Bakugo. Izuku Midoriya stands on one side, Bakugo on the other, and Izuku tells him that he finally has his chance to try and show if he's better than Izuku or better than himself. He tells Bakugo, "Are you ready? Are you ready to show the world that you are somehow better than me?" And he mocks Bakugo just a little bit, telling him that he was so prideful over his quirk. Everybody was so prideful over his quirk. The difference is, well, they all really liked him because they knew he was going places. Everybody else, when they started seeing my powers, Izuku's powers, when they started seeing the powers of Izuku, they weren't prideful of him. They weren't thinking he was going places. There's a difference. They feared him. They were terrified because they never met somebody that didn't show crazy promise at such a young age, or promise that could be seen in a sparkling explosion, and they didn't know what would have happened if he continued, or if Izuku continued to grow up and get stronger and stronger, what could happen at all. So they liked him out of fear, out of conformity, out of making sure that they were on the nice side of Izuku. But Bakugo, on the other hand, yeah, they might have been scared a little bit of the Pomeranian, but they didn't fear him. Not even close. Izuku tells Bakugo that him and him, they are in a totally different category. And that himself, he's in a category above it all. And it's really that simple. In which Bakugo does not take this very lightly and comes charging in with explosions and furies of them. But Izuku would be easily able to calculate what Bakugo is doing, break down what Bakugo is doing, and easily eliminate him in a matter of seconds. Everybody cheers and everybody is shocked. The fact that this cocky, this prideful, this proud little kid, or well, teenager, was able to live up to the word that he said at the very beginning. Wow, that is something amazing. You don't really see that many people nowadays that aren't just all bark, but they are bite as well. Now, Izuku is celebrated and everybody cheers him on, and of course he gets first place. But this isn't over. This isn't the end of it all. This is where he would get piles and piles and piles and piles of internship offers, and frankly, there would be so many that he didn't even know who to choose. I mean, he would think about it a lot. I mean, what about this hero? What about this hero? What about this? He would think about as many as possible, but he would be kind of debating between a couple that he's actually been seeing, but the one he actually thinks about doing the most, and maybe it's out of pride, maybe it's out of just wanting to kind of deal with the whole backlash behind that, and maybe even torment him a little more, that's Endeavor. He's surprised. Endeavor actually lived up to his word. Izuku did make Todoroki utilize his fire side, even if it was for a brief moment, but he didn't really expect him to double down on it, especially after what happened before he went on stage. Kind of wild that he ended up doing that. But hey, he respects someone that has, the guts to live up to his word, but doesn't respect somebody that is also abusive. But that's beyond the point, at least right now, because Izuku will now have time to torment Endeavor just a little bit more. Now, this would lead them to actually being intertwined in their internships, and that includes him and Todoroki. So when they would get all set up and everybody would get set up to go to their internships, they would head off to actually deal with them, him and Todoroki. Todoroki would make it clear that they are not friends, in which Izuku agrees, saying they are definitely not friends, and trust me, he understands that. There's no worries there. And he would head off to work with Endeavor. Now, initially, Endeavor would make it so that it's kind of like Izuku is a training dummy for Todoroki, but of course, there would be some pushback by Izuku, some that would lead them to actually working and heading off to, Hosu City to do some patrolling in a city that is supposed to be pretty climactic, at least you could say. Now, they wouldn't expect all of the things that are going to happen, but let's just say they definitely do, because when they arrive, it's pretty chaotic, and so chaotic to the point where it seems as if there are Nomus running around, there are villains running around, there's so much chaos running around and going around, and it's pretty wild to even think about, but it seems as if it's going to be handled relatively quickly. Izuku uses his Omega Beams to basically knock out or disintegrate Nomu after Nomu. And on top of that, any villains, stray villains that are around would be stunned in a matter of seconds. These Omega Beams are pretty damn overpowered for him, and Endeavor just watches in awe as Izuku does this and then makes the beams just dissipate and disappear. Nobody even says a word. They don't even know where they came from. It happens so quickly. But Izuku just doesn't even reference it, as the city would already calm down in a matter of seconds, so much so that they would begin to hear ruckus nearby in a different alleyway. And that ruckus is actually from the hero killer, Stain. And it's ironic because this is someone Izuku was actually curious about just a little bit, because he heard something with Tenya Ida and also his family about this person specifically. Now, when they arrive, it seems like Endeavor insists on handling this on his own, and, well, there's a reason why Endeavor is the number 2 hero in terms of power, but the hero killer is pretty slippery and tricky, so he does have a little bit of struggle against the hero killer, but the hero killer seems to fall relatively simply to Endeavor, especially when Izuku kind of like pokes his head in and helps out just a little bit, tagging the hero killer with an Omega Beam to stun part of his leg and give Endeavor an opening. Now, he kind of just allows Endeavor to take the credit, so he doesn't just, get in trouble for anything he did. But there's something off about this whole scenario. Why did this happen? Why is this happening? Is there an outer kind of more elaborate plan going on as they speak? He begins to think about this and listen closely to try to listen to anything going on, but it's not like he can hear that far out. I mean, he thinks to himself, this might be the work of Shigaraki maybe, or someone of that manner, maybe, just maybe, but for now they just have no clue, and for now they just will continue to have very, very limited knowledge of that occurrence. Now, this would lead them to being forced back to UA because, when horrible things happen, when a student almost dies and, all this crazy stuff occurs, well, you're kind of forced into a situation where you got to send the kids back, and you can't really allow them to do their own things just for safety reasons. Now, this would put them in a scenario where they do have a little bit more time, of course, to prepare for their final exams, in which Izuku, in terms of the written, doesn't even have to touch a book. I mean, we are talking about Izuku being extremely intelligent, knowing practically everything you could possibly imagine, and he absolutely is a brilliant mind, so the written portion is a very simple one. Now, when you get to the very next portion, which would be the practical, is a totally different scenario, because Izuku begins to wait to hear who his opponent is, and he continues to wait until nobody is chosen. I mean, what is this? Well, why is nobody chosen for his his person to go against? In which Aizawa says that they actually got a special thing for him, and they called in a favor that, well, he'll probably enjoy very much. And it's going to be something similar to this, something where he could either choose to escape or try to incapacitate 3 people or 3 heroes. But then Izuku would cut off Aizawa and ask if he means 3. I mean, why did he just say 3? In which Aizawa would laugh a little bit and say, oh, my fault, of course, and would say, yes, because you'll be taking on 3 heroes, or, well, students actually, but future heroes known as the Big 3. And the Big 3 would come crashing down, and they would be introduced as Mirio, Tamaki, and also Nejire. These 3 are the 3 highest level students and also the most powerful students in UA High School. They are 3rd years and have accelerated beyond anybody's possible imagination, and even Mirio arguably will be a top 10 hero once he steps foot into the hero world. So can Izuku Midoriya, the reincarnation of Darkseid, take on these 3 heroes evenly in the final exam? Well, you're gonna have to find out in the 4th part of what if Deku was the reincarnation of Darkseid. And if you enjoyed, show some love. Leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below. All that good stuff. And yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. And I hope y'all continue to enjoy the videos. And that's really all I got to say. I hope y'all enjoyed. And I hope all y'all have an amazing day. Later.